Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review, number 209. And I am Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel. Of course, Aaron Rift is here, Colin the Cleaver, Andrew, Big G is back in the house, happy to be here, and Jerry Slaughter. And we were going to have 6 people on tonight, and Noah Foster was supposed to be on, and hopefully he's okay or just resting, but he is not here tonight. But if he sees us in the chat, join up. So, gentlemen, what's up? Jerry, welcome back. How's it going?
Exhausting. Lots and lots of work. A bunch of 10 and 12-hour shifts, but I'm probably taking the night off, so I'm going to Chicago tomorrow for the weekend. And I wanted to talk wrestling tonight, so here we are.
Here we are, as we are Thursday night. Back to normal this week. So it's good. Hey, NoDQ Galaxy, share this right now. Spread the word. Mm-hmm. Let's get back on track and get the NoDQ review back up. I know it's kind of been stagnant with topics. I mean, we had the Bray Wyatt return, but we don't have big topics this time of year. People just don't. They tune out of wrestling. What do you think, Big G?
They do here and there. But other than that, as always, I'm happy to be here. I'm doing pretty good. Had a fun weekend at Celebfest 5. Celebfest 6 is coming up in February. Can't wait for that. Other than that, I'm ready to go. Let's do this thing, baby.
All right. And, of course, back fresh off his honeymoon, Colin the Cleaver Andrew is in the house. What up? How was Virginia Beach?
Dude, it was amazing. Good weather, amazing food, the best company. It was the best trip of my life, man.
Who'd you take?
Oh, I took my wife. You know what I mean? Yeah. I got married a few weeks ago.
Wait, you have a wife? We're all a bunch of losers. Remember, a bunch of loser virgins.
Yeah, I mean, I got 2 kids. I ain't a virgin, man. You know what I mean?
Doesn't mean you didn't take them.
But no, it was fantastic. It really was a great time. It was nice not having to be mom and dad. It was, just being able to be each other and not to be employees and stuff and this, that, and the other. It was just a great time, and hopefully we can do something like this again soon. So, but I'm stoked to be back. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like every 3 months or whatever. It seemed like you weren't on that not too long ago.
I want to say like the end of May. I want to say I was on.
It's been that long?
Yeah. So
man, it was Jerry that was on not too long ago. But anyway, here we are. Aaron, over to you. We're going to get this show on the road because we got 5 people still. We got topics to talk about. And, of course, the NoDQ Galaxy in the chat keeps us really busy as well.
Happy to have the Cleaver back with us. And, Jerry, it's also been a while since you've been on. I love that shirt, by the way, the vintage NoDQ. Very cool.
I was going to wear that one tonight.
Yeah.
And, Colin, happy marriage, happy honeymoon. Happy life, happy wife, all that stuff. Love the theme shirt. So anyways, a little bit of a sad note before we get started here. Our good friend, Mr. Tito, sent in a $9.99 super chat. So thank you for that, Tito. He says, my heart goes out to Kevin Nash and his family. No parent should have to bury their child. Before he rejoined WCW in 1996, he was quoted as, quote, wife was 3 months pregnant and took deal for family.
Yeah, as a parent, that one hurts me, dude. Like, I tweeted out earlier, I'm not, friends with him. I don't know him in real life, anything like that, but it's someone I've watched for 30 years. So I'm sorry for the whole Nash family.
Absolutely. Losing your child is just tragic. No other way to say it. And our thoughts are with Kevin Nash for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've heard on a couple different shows and a couple different movies this line where it's like a man who loses his wife is a widower, a kid that loses his parents is an orphan, but there's not really a word for somebody that loses a child, and I think it's just because there's not a word for anything that's sad. So, our thoughts and prayers are with you.
So we got to move on. That obviously Kevin Nash. I mean, God, when did Scott Hall pass away? I know that was like his best friend, like a year or so ago.
No, less than a year. March.
Yeah.
Today's Nash's birthday too, right?
Or no, Scott Hall's birthday.
Hall's birthday. Sorry.
Oh wow, that's even worse.
Yeah. Virtue, real quick before we get to this, two things. We do have a super chat from Caleb Jacobs. Mo Cameron wants to know if he can be on since Noah isn't around. What do you think?
What happens if Noah can be on?
Well, then what? Then
There will be 7.
Like, we haven't heard from Noah, so bring him on. Bring him on. And then if Noah can join, then guess who gets bumped?
All right. Mo Cameron's on until Noah shows up. All right. I'll send him the link. And Caleb Jacobs, I have not seen Knight Rider. Have any of you guys seen it? He bought the complete series. Anybody?
Oh, yeah. It was so cheesy. It's like I can't take my eyes off the screen when it's on from the 80s. Oh, absolutely. And there was a movie, too, as well.
Yeah.
You
can never hassle the Hoff.
Mr. Feeney has the voice of the car. Yeah, Mr. Feeney has the voice of the car. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Knight Rider was always cool because of the car. Once Boy Meets World came out and we knew Mr. Feeney as Mr. Feeney, Kit became even cooler.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really did.
Anyway. Feeney. You ready to start, Aaron?
Yeah, let's start.
All right, so we're going to start, like, normally I don't do this, but let's start with the thumbnail. Bray Wyatt, he had his promo on Smackdown last Friday, and I would assume that they're going to continue something tomorrow night. So I want to get this out on discussion, get people, psyched for SmackDown. When he came out, he had new music. I dig it, right? It looks like he's separating himself from the Fiend character. However, it looks like we're going to have something still spooky and supernatural, split identity. But guess what we kind of got to see for the first time? Bray Wyatt as himself. I've been clamoring this for years. Now, I know they're not doing this as his character going forward, but they're doing it to have him battling his demons or whatever's going on. But he literally was cutting a promo like it was himself. And it was kind of unique. It was cool. We got to see like the real him, even though they're turning this into something with that other mask, with his alter ego. I believe by listening to that voice, they had it distorted. It definitely sounds like him. But I'm intrigued by this. I know when it happened, Aaron and I messaged each other, and it was just cool to see something different. I know Bray Wyatt has a lot of people that love him, and he has a certain amount of people that don't like him because they don't like the spooky stuff. Over when he became the Fiend, his matches really weren't there for that character, right? I'll argue that he had a lot of really solid matches when he was the Mississippi, Louisiana cult leader type thing. But they kind of like started booking him bad once he became the champion of the whole Randy Orton thing, House of Horrors and all that. Nobody remembers the solid matches he had against all the people. But like, kudos to Bray. I love the fact that he has haters. And I think he knows that, and he wants to still like just entertain people. And we don't know what's going to come out of this Hollywood movie, this horror movie that he's allegedly going to be in. We'll probably hear about it within the next 6 months or a year. But I think this guy, career-wise, he's on fire again because he's back to doing what he loves. So, Colin, let's talk about Bray Wyatt's promo. I like it. Step in the right direction.
Dude, that was so genuine to me because, like, I lost 2 people real close to me this year. I lost one of my best friends of 15 plus years, and 3 days later, lost my mom. I know what losing 2 people feels like because I'm not going to lie to you. I've drank heavily for a long time since this has happened. I've lost myself for a while. Like, part of this trip was a refresher for me to get back on focus with a lot of things too up here. So for that was real channeling to me because that shit happens in real life. So I really liked where they were going with that. The dude, it was a solid promo. The dude's on fire. Like, I'm so glad he's back. I know a lot of people out there shit on him, and I know that he has had bad booking in the past with a sweet character and it's done damage and this, that, and the other. But I feel with this little twist, there's been rumors going around that it's called Uncle Howie or something like that.
Uncle Howdy.
Uncle Howdy. That's what it is. And there's also supposed to be like another masked persona I've been seeing around that hasn't come about yet. So this might really be like some 3 faces of Wyatt shit, like literally wrapped into one. But I'm really excited to see where it goes. I feel that this character could be 10 times bigger than the Fiend if they pull the trigger right. And hopefully they do, because he can't take another shit to bed.
Exactly. Now, the fact, though, this is a different era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's all about,
yeah,
hey, let's see what happens without the creative differences with him and Vince McMahon that we have allegedly heard about. All right, Big G, what do you want to add to this? You said you went back and rewatched it, so that tells me, did you even watch it the night it happened?
Oh, I did. I just went back and
rewatched
it again just to refresh my memory to remember what he said. Yeah, awesome promo from Bray Wyatt. I like how he was out there being himself, being real, letting his emotions out and stuff like that. And hopefully this time around, with Triple H under creative now, hopefully they can do a 180 and book him right this time. And people are talking about how there's gonna be a Wyatt 6 and how there's people under the masks and stuff like that. But I've been talking about instead of having a faction, it needs to be kind of like the Three Faces of Foley, but having 6 of them, like the Wyatt 6, have 6 different personalities.
That's a different twist.
Have a multiple personality disorder, and Bray Wyatt. If anybody can do it, Bray Wyatt can do it.
Mm-hmm.
He can do it because he doesn't need a faction. He just needs to be by himself. Like I said, book him right, and everything should be okay this time around. So awesome that Wyatt's back. I'm kind of pissed that I didn't go to Philly because it's an hour and 40-minute drive, and I could have been there in person to see it. But that's neither here or there anymore. So
was it AEW?
Awesome to see Bray Wyatt back.
Now, is that Code Orange doing his music this time too?
Yes.
Is that cool? All right. I thought that those vocals sounded familiar, but I haven't got a clear,
I think the song is called.
listen.
It's called. I think it's called Shatter.
Okay, right on. I like that they're still doing stuff with them.
Yeah, great music, Jerry. Could you imagine if all of these things on Smackdown, the TV shows that he does, it's the spooky stuff that he's got to battle just to get to who he's feuding with in the match at the PLE, and he has to beat all of that on top of being ready for his opponent, and then he's himself. He finds the way to be himself when these matches happen, and he starts putting on matches that people start talking about. Even if he's not a great wrestler, even if he's a bigger guy, you can make it you can make people buy into wow, what happened? He's all of a sudden this great wrestler, just to do it right. That's how I would book this and make people think when they're watching his matches, they're oh my God, this guy's having all these problems with himself and who he's feuding with, and all of a sudden he's having these great matches at PLEs what he was never known for. I don't know. What do you think? I just don't want the red light. I don't want the 5-minute matches, the squash matches what happened with Orton at WrestleMania this last time, Goldberg. You know what I mean? What do you think?
I totally get what you mean. And the whole, him being all 6 faces, that would make a Survivor Series match a hell of a hard time for him. From there, I think the whole idea of him having this whole multiple personality disorder, especially built from trauma from him losing 2 people and also losing his job when he's one of the highest grossing people in the company at that point, that could also trigger a whole bunch of different psychosis, and that just makes more and more sense for his character he's got going on right now. But if there is a Wyatt 6, I like the idea of them being unveiled, one at a time, just space it out. But don't flood everybody with all this information, and leave a little bit of intrigue to what's going on. And that way, if you want to add people from NXT into there, just have them have a way of pulling them up. That's your way of doing that. Or it could easily be the 3 faces of Wyatt and then three other people, pretty much like a cult leader and then his 3 followers. So I'm not exactly sure who would be in it. I still have my crazy conspiracy theory that one of them is Sami Zayn. I honestly think he's in there, and I think it's this whole ticking time bomb inside the bloodline, and Jey Uso's gonna be right this whole time.
Interesting.
That would definitely be interesting. Okay, thank
because
you.
everybody like he'd be like the rabbit, because Rambling Rabbit, he's always talking, and that's Sami Zayn. He never shuts up.
Now, interesting. So, Mo Cameron, I'm going to come over to you. So we got to get your take on Bray Wyatt, because you aren't on this show as that often, other than in the chat. Like, the fact that they let him, even though it's leading to something with this alter ego, kind of let him semi-shoot so fans could feel his reality. That's like people, especially with smart fans on the internet, wanting to know these wrestlers in real life or think that's how you connect with fans. So I hope whatever they did Friday, they continue to do that. What do you think on that whole Bray Wyatt promo and going forward? Mo.
Yeah, so I got a little emotional when I saw Bray Wyatt cut that promo, because I did lose my cousin earlier this year from suicide. For you guys who don't know, I live in Toronto. But anyways, I feel like Bray Wyatt should stay away from the world title until SummerSlam. I feel like fantasy booking, I feel like Cody should beat Roman at WrestleMania, and then Cody should drop the title to Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam, because there's a story. Cody can come out and be like, oh, my father created you in NXT. You were his idea, so the story writes itself. As far as a faction, I don't want any more factions. There's too many factions. I feel like Wyatt is best on his own. My favorite Bray Wyatt was always the Fiend / the Funhouse, because there was always something to look forward to. This because the Eater of the World, it was very generic. He would come out there, cut a promo, and then eat a pinfall. There's no surprise element to it. But with the Firefly Funhouse, you would look forward to his segments every week, and the Fiend was just the icing on the cake. Now I feel like the person who's behind the mask is probably going to be Bo Dallas, but I don't know. I can't take Bo Dallas seriously, because he's been a jobber his whole career, and I know Aaron said to me last week you should just like start from scratch, but it's very hard to suspend my disbelief on Bo Dallas.
Question for you now. Drew McIntyre was pretty much at the bottom of the card with 3MB, and he came back and was able to be built back up. Do you think that could work for Bo Dallas? Do you think he would need to go through NXT? What are your thoughts on that?
See, the difference between Drew McIntyre and Bo Dallas is Drew McIntyre comes off as believable. He's like 6'9", he's 300 pounds, he can wrestle, he can talk, it was just the booking.
Yeah,
and
but
then
Dallas
he did
comes
go
off
through
believable. So,
like if it's Bo Dallas, right, and any character behind a mask, and he's playing it, why even come back as Bo Dallas? Just play that character, Uncle Harper, Uncle whatever, and that's your character. Wrestlers used to do that all the time.
Maybe Bo Dallas might come out looking scary as hell. Like, oh my, who's that? Like, you wouldn't recognize him. Maybe he has like, I don't know, like a body transformation. He looks scary. I don't know, something that'll just shock the hell out of me. But if he just comes out as Bo Dallas, no.
You have to say it this way: Isaac Yankem, Kane.
Yep.
One good mask and one good different presentation is all you really need to make a star.
Ringmaster, Stone Cold Steve Austin. All right, we got 6 people on that, so we got to keep it moving. Aaron, over to you. I know we got some super chats, but get your piece on this, and we will move along. And by the way, guess what, Mo? Our main event tonight, we're going to be talking some AEW. So I know you're looking forward to that. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, by the way, Virtue. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And best to Noah Foster out there. He probably just fell asleep.
And shout outs to Big G and Colin and Jerry Slaughter and Aaron Rift.
Thank you for that. No, hey Mo, where were you SummerSlam 2019 weekend?
I was thinking the same thing.
Seriously.
Where was I? Like, what do you, was it in Toronto or something?
Yeah.
We were there. We were there. Jerry?
How was it? I've never been to an actual WWE show. Is it better than TV? I feel TV does it more justice.
We went to TakeOver Toronto too, and we went to SummerSlam that year. The debut match of The Fiend against Finn Balor. It was sick.
And you guys met
being there in person. Is it like an adrenaline rush?
Yes.
Now, keep in mind, we didn't know what was ahead for the booking of The Fiend.
Can you imagine his entrance
at that
at
particular
WrestleMania?
time either. So it was like electric.
Oh, it was.
Can you
It was.
imagine his entrance at WrestleMania with the Triple H regime? Oh my God, that's gonna be spectacle.
But it was fantastic. And yeah, me and Stefan met Finn Balor on the streets of Toronto, and and that next night he got destroyed by the Fiend. He got sent all the way back to NXT.
Oh, maybe we'll do another Toronto meetup at some point. But let's get to these super chats because we are not limited on time, but we do want to try to wrap this up without going into like 2 hours. But we'll see how things go. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Very much agree with this. Says appreciate your loved ones while they're still here. 100%, man. And Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, congrats, Colin. We may actually go under 2 hours because Walter is just in the chat room. We love you, Walter. Congratulations on the marriage, Colin. He says, Wyatt's music was awesome, and that Wyatt promo was great. Say yes to NoDQ. Click, like, and share. Hashtag stick to my shtick. Thank you for that, Walter. We love you. And Psycho Jet Black sent in $5. Says, who should be Bray Wyatt's opponents at WrestleMania? Good question here. I wanted it to be Orton so he could finally get his win, but if he's injured, who's a good replacement? Mo, I want to throw this over to you. If it was your call, who would be Bray Wyatt's opponent at WrestleMania?
At WrestleMania, his first WrestleMania, assuming it will be his first victory, which would be a big deal because he lost 4 times at WrestleMania. I would say Drew McIntyre or John Cena. Because that Firefly Funhouse match wasn't a match. It was just a show.
John Cena in a legit match where he goes over John Cena. That would be huge.
And John Cena taps out after 20-something years of not tapping out.
He finally gives up. I mean, Hulk Hogan did. He tapped out to Kurt Angle after years of never giving up. Although that's John Cena's catchphrase. It would be shocking if he did.
That actually forced him into retirement and tell him like he's a step away from wrestling. If he,
I mean,
like,
a pinfall would be okay too.
Yeah.
That match.
I would like to see that match, but I'm wondering if Bray Wyatt's going to be a heel or a face at this point. Like
he may be both.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard for people to boo the guy at this point, but based off of what we saw on SmackDown, I feel like him going out there was just him being able to cut a shoot-like promo and then go back into the character, and he may just be the character from this point forward. We'll have to wait and see. I'm very intrigued about it. I think so far so good. And as far as the Wyatt 6 goes, if that does happen, I like the idea of spreading it out over time and gradually introducing other members. But hell, I would be fine if it's just Bray Wyatt by himself, or maybe Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas. If Bo Dallas comes in with a different look, a different attitude, you don't want him to come back, like Mo said, with people being reminded of that old Bo Leave character. He's got to be something different. If he
was great.
Cut his hair, grow out a beard, or do something. He's got to look drastically different from how he was before if they're going to make that work. Now, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, I always thought Mo was British for some reason. I mean, it's pretty clear to me, Mo, you got the Canadian accent. You kind of sound like Kevin Owens a little bit.
Yeah, I got that. You said that like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely, we can tell you're from Canada. And
unfortunately, I always wanted to live in Florida, but hey, that's just.
Hey, Toronto's a cool city. We were there. We liked it. We had a good time.
It's really cold. It's really cold. The weather sucks. It's like really discouraging.
Yeah, I mean that's the one bad thing about the North. But
I've always thought Canada. I've always thought Canada should be our 51st state.
Really?
It pretty much is.
I mean, anyways, we're here, like it's so close. I don't know.
I know, and all the major cities are right by the U.S. border. But anyways, we're caught up. Virtue, we can move on to the next.
Okay, I think Riddle would be a good opponent for WrestleMania.
For WrestleMania,
That too.
Maybe Royal Rumble.
It's a little too early though. We got to see Bray develop this new thing first over the course of the rest of this year, and then maybe like January we can start thinking about that. So moving on here, like, so months ago, weeks ago, whenever it was, we saw JBL snatch Corbin and go, off in his limo, and now they're back. And I was like confused. Like, JBL came out in his oversized suit, like, just the typical JBL look. Still can cut a heated promo in the ring. I like it. I'm just like, what exactly? So he's there with Corbin. What, Corbin didn't come like with a gimmick change or nothing. Like, I was expecting him to come out in a suit and a cowboy hat. I don't care if that's cliche. Do it. Like, I didn't feel this meant anything other than JBL is his verbal manager and he's going to do commentary during his matches. Look, I like JBL's heat that he can draw as that heel figure. And if Corbin needed that little push, what's going on with this? It did not click with me. And I like both of these guys in those heel roles. Mo, I'll come right back to you here. Like, I don't know, man. I thought Corbin was going to, like, be a copycat JBL, and I would have been okay with that. What do you think here? I was a little disappointed. I mean, maybe something will still happen. What do you think?
I was expecting for a swerve, like maybe the Lone Wolf music hits and, like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. There's no character change with this guy. It's the same, like, what was it called? The Money Corbin, whatever. He had this, like, Corbin. It was just Happy Corbin. What was the difference? Just different, like a different outfit. That outfit was atrocious, anyways. I didn't like it one bit. There was no difference. His match style is still the same. There's no character development. There's nothing. It was just JBL. Like, Corbin doesn't even need a mouthpiece. He's good on his own. That's the one thing I like about Corbin. He's decent on the mic.
But like, if they were gonna go old school like that and give him a manager, like, who was that one manager guy that was always in WCW? Remember, he's like the cowboy hat and whatever.
Colonel Parker?
Yeah, it's like that. Like, have the wrestler be like the same Wall Street cowboy and stuff. I don't know. I mean, like, it's weird because you would have never thought that would have worked for JBL when he was an acolyte, and then somehow he was a top heel for a year or two, and it worked. And he put John Cena over, and look what happened with Cena. Big G, what do you think here, man? It's not clicking with Mo and I.
Nah, it wasn't either. No, like,
okay.
I mean, it's pretty much just like Mo said it. You said it. I'm gonna say it's pretty much the same gimmick that Corbin's coming out to. The music changed a little bit. He's still wearing a fedora hat. The outfit he was wearing looked like somebody puked all over him. I just don't dig it. I mean, yeah, it's still in the early phase. Maybe Corbin will eventually transform into like something different. But like, I like Corbin. I've always liked Corbin since his NXT days. So I mean, he needs something different. And having JBL as his mouthpiece, I don't think is the thing right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next couple months, and maybe down the road it'll click for us.
Now, Jerry, where they dropped the ball. And this is hard because this was, they had the overlap of the Vince McMahon era. Remember when Corbin was having all the bad luck and
sad Corbin? Yes,
they should have like drugged that on for a long time.
They should have.
Then JBL saved him.
Yeah,
and then he comes out in a suit, Wall Street.
Yes,
the whole fantasy booking, right? Yeah. Hindsight, 2020. Go. What do you think?
The whole Happy Corbin thing shouldn't have happened. You're correct about that. The sad Corbin thing should have kept on going, and all of a sudden JBL just pulls up in a limo. It's like, come on. And then, like, even then, if he came out in the stupid shirt and the stupid fedora, it would have made sense anyhow because JBL would have been, hooking up with money and, helping him out a lot. But at this point, I think the whole idea of Baron Corbin with JBL is pretty much WWE's Hail Mary to try to get, like, some sort of reaction for him. He was getting some crazy heat with Madcap Moss, but that's only because they were annoying as hell. Nobody wanted them on TV. Nobody wanted to see them. It was really bad go-away heat. And now it's at that point where they don't know what to do with Corbin. So they have to try something. And if this doesn't work out, I'm not even sure where they're going to put him at this point.
Imagine if they would have done how I suggested, leading into, maybe did it a little bit earlier, leading into Corbin versus McAfee. Imagine all the heat then Corbin would have had during that match because people love McAfee. It would have like been 10 times better. I'm not saying that was bad because McAfee's cool and people are behind him. But like that's old school wrestling. Have a good heel and make people want to hate him, want to see him lose, not because you want to see him lose because you want him to go away.
Yeah. You don't get that kind of like reaction from fans anymore. And when you actually do get that that heel that you hate so much and you're supposed to hate him, that's just great television. That's great performing. That's just good business. But lately, everybody's more intrigued with getting catchphrases, getting T-shirts, getting all this other crap. Like the old school heels, they don't want T-shirts. They don't want stuff like that. They don't want people cheering for them. They want them to be booed. That's it. That's how they make the money. That's how they bring in the crowds. And after a while, you become what Chris Jericho actually referred to in his book, the dreaded cool heel. It's the reason why he never joined the NWO and WCW. He didn't want to be part of that. He wanted to do something different. That's when he started doing the whole conspiracy victim thing, and that's when he became the Jericho we know and love today.
Good point. All right, Colin, over to you.
I mean, you got JB out there in a suit made by Jinkos, and freaking and goddamn Baron Corbin looked like he's headed to a swim meet. Like,
that's a good. You nailed both of them.
Or Steve Harvey.
No. Don't disrespect Steve Harvey like that. Take that back. Don't you dare. But what the hell are you doing? Disgusting. Absolutely. Like, I mean, what happened to the JBL running off Mexicans and, just shitting on everybody, and now he's just the same old shtick at what? He's got to be, 55, 60 years old by now at least, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's not working. Yeah, this is probably going to be another sizzle in the pan thing for Corbin. Hopefully Hunter can figure out quick that this is not going to click. And
Triple H was out with COVID. I heard
Bruce or Brian? I heard it was Road Dogg in charge of Raw.
Yeah, Road Dogg. Yeah.
I mean,
so
they got phones. I'm sure Triple H was on the phone.
On the phone or FaceTime and something, but still.
He's vaccinated, so I'm sure he just had like cold and flu symptoms,
Sure.
But pretty positive, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
That's exactly what COVID is. It's cold and flu.
Well, not for everybody.
Strike one for me, man. Strike one for me.
Time out. We're going to skip the wrestling thing for a second here. Aaron Rift, you're afraid. Like, first of all, people have died, hundreds of thousands, low millions worldwide, globally, every year.
All right, Colin, it's your turn to talk. We're not talking politics on the NoDQ review. So go ahead, Colin.
So what were we talking about again? Oh, yeah, the Baron Corbin deal.
Anyway, back
to
me.
To drop a pipe bomb.
I'm the moderator. Let me finish my thought. What I'm saying is, first of all, aren't we like, I'm just saying vaccinated, Aaron. You're vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. Triple H is okay. He's vaccinated, right? Aaron, you're not gonna lose followers because I'm saying that he's okay. Exactly. Jesus. I do what I want when I want. All right,
drink your orange juice, Paul. Drink your orange juice. You'll be okay. Yeah. Anyways, strike one for me on this whole Baron Corbin and JBL thing. They got to figure something else out because what we saw Monday night was just kind of embarrassing.
I think there's one way to redeem this thing. Next week on Raw, JBL comes out, and right when he's about to introduce Baron Corbin, you hear the Lone Wolf song come out. Baron Corbin steps into the ring and gives JBL the end of days.
You think JBL could take that?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think JBL would do that?
Yeah, I think he can take a bump.
But
millions have died from the flu every year. God, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying people didn't get sick and die from it. Like, I'm just saying, don't ignore the past. We get a flu shot every year, right? My work makes me get a flu shot every year, right? To protect ourselves. That's always been going on that way. God, I hate the media convinced all you guys that this is like, it's bad no matter what. It's been bad. It's always going to be bad. Jesus. One virtue's right again, like I always am. I mean, what's my track record of being wrong? on anything that I talk about. It's not.
Go again.
My show, my rules. I say do what I want when I want. And Aaron can't do
Whatever.
anything about it. All right.
What's going to get us to 2K views no matter what it takes?
That's right. That's right. Because all you got to do is put that in the tagline, and people will click on there. Oh, what are these guys talking about? All right. So, Aaron, over to you. I don't know if you want to talk about Corbin or not, and JBL. And JBL's pretty suit. I mean, I'm sure it still cost him a hefty penny. But
oh, dude, he probably got that at freaking
double. It was like double size,
like Berlin Coat Factory or something.
I mean, it's JBL. He's got some.
The funny thing is, JBL was at Celeb Fest the other day on Sunday, and he was wearing like jeans and a sports coat. I was like, why can't he just come out with that? Huh?
Were they Jinkos?
No, he was no.
Oh, okay.
No.
I didn't know if he was repping, I didn't know if he was repping the brand or not because that's
At least he had a sports coat on. Aaron.
All right, we do have a few super chats, so I will go ahead and get to those. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Says, "Can't we all agree that Ryback sucks?"
Yes,
absolutely.
Anybody like Ryback?
I'm entertained by Ryback. I wish he would be there to piss people off. Like, see what I just did there with your whole COVID thing, getting a reaction because I'm a master at that. Ryback is a master of that. So now Del Rio different, right? He did like criminal type things. Ryback's just a dick. Like I don't think he's done anything where he's like criminal. That's different. I'm not going to sit here and like say bring back Del Rio, but I love people hating people, man. That's how you heal. That's gone in wrestling.
I would love to see a faction with Velveteen Dream, Del Rio, and Royd back.
But I wouldn't want to see Ryback get beat up. Like that's the end game for sure.
Mo, first off, he said no more factions. Secondly, that's a horrible idea.
That'll be a very controversial faction.
I mean, honestly, 2/3 of that faction could be in prison together sometime soon. So,
wait, name that faction again. Name it again, Mo.
Royd back, Velveteen Dream, and Del Rio.
Yeah, the latter two. Big time legal issues. Ryback, nothing that I know of. So Ryback is okay. Like I'm just being honest. Ryback's just a dick. The other two, I would even say nah.
All right, and we continue.
Good super chat. Whatever to spark that one.
Okay. Yeah, I still want to see Ryback in AEW just because he would get the most heat of anybody in the history of the show. But you know what? Not all heat is good heat.
Can you imagine Tony Khan? Hugging Ryback.
He could easily say it's like okay, well I came here to take out CM Punk again, but you know it's whatever.
Psycho Jet Black sent in $5 and says Corbin's problem is that he can play an annoying character and be a decent wrestler, but lacks the star presence that people would buy tickets for.
Oh, that's a lie.
Now I'll say this about Corbin. I think he's really good in the ring. I think that he's a really solid talker, and I don't have a problem with him being pushed in WWE. I think that for a lot of his career, he's been put in bad positions and he's been booked questionably. I think a couple years ago when he was the GM, that was a tough time because Raw creatively was in the toilet to the point where the McMahons actually went out on television and acknowledged it. And Corbin was the guy who was in storyline running the show. So that had a negative association. People associate that bad period with Corbin. And then we got the happy gimmick, which ran its course very quickly. And as mentioned earlier, the bum-ass Corbin deal should have been a longer storyline before you got to the happy Corbin or brought in JBL. But yeah, that visual on Raw, JBL with the baggy pants and Corbin with that awful attire, it's not interesting to me. Now, I'm sure Corbin will say, well, people are hating it, so it must be good. You know, any heat is good heat. But to me, that's the kind of stuff where I'll just turn off the television if it's not my job to watch the show. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way. But
you know what kind of reminds me of? When Sonny brought in Farouk and he was wearing that ugly teal thing.
Yeah.
Keep in mind too, though,
Trojan helmet.
sometimes
Yeah.
when things are certain like level controversy, like for every one person that turns it off, two could turn it on. Now, again, that's you gotta with creative, you gotta be creative with it. So I mean, if it's just flat out, like you said, that star who's now Big G, what did you disagree with on that super chat? Someone said
I was just being funny because JBL called him the modern day wrestling god.
Oh yeah.
I was just being funny. I was
let's be honest though, Corbin's probably a better wrestler than JBL.
Yeah.
Right?
I would
It's just
agree on
boring.
that.
Something about Corbin is just boring. It's just something's not. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's that it factor. Aaron, we got more super chats. We caught up.
Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. I was expecting a Rolex stockbroker type person.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, anything would have been better than what he did. Like, he was basically just Happy Corbin with worse attire than before.
JBL could have turned himself into almost like the modern day $1 Million Man, just pretty much taking these like bum type wrestlers and turning them into bigger deals. But at this point, this is already dead in the water.
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't a "You look stupid" chant like when Sheamus came back.
Oh, there probably was there. They probably just lowered the volume.
Yeah,
that's right. The Raw manipulates that. Well, at least they used to. Kevin Dunn's still there, so
right.
Yeah.
All set?
Yep, we're all caught up.
All right, main topic tonight, All Elite Wrestling. There's so much I want to cover here with this. Like the whole Adam Page versus Moxley happened, and then of course the clothesline and Adam Page got knocked out, and injuries happen, I think, more so in wrestling today than they ever have because they're just the intensity's up, the spots are higher, look at that clothesline. Moxley, they were trying to make it look really, really good, and it looks like he connected and knocked him out, gave him a concussion. Got to get everyone's thoughts on that. And then Jericho, just like Moxley, contract extension. You have all that turmoil with Punk and the EVPs, and now they're locking Moxley and Jericho as these mentors, right? And that's pretty interesting because I thought for sure good old Chris would be heading back to WWE, and now it's not anytime soon. So, Mo Camera, I will start with you. And then, of course, the MJF promo. He's really good at doing the Ric Flair style pop a blood vessel promos, and it makes you want to listen to every word he says. I mean, that's the name of the game. So, what's your whole thoughts on it? And you can throw in something else too from AEW. You know me, I skim watch it on Twitter and YouTube. Have at it, Mo. This is your baby topic here. I know.
I kind of do the same. I just watched the highlights. So I rewatched that over and over again where he connected the clothesline. I'm like, isn't that how you're supposed to connect anyways? You're supposed to you know what I mean? But they're saying he's suffering. At first, I thought it was going to be a way to protect, what's his name? Hangman, sort of make him look strong. Maybe in kayfabe he gets injured, not in real life. But they're saying he is really concussed. So I do hope he's all right. The MJF promo, I don't think it was a babyface promo. I feel like what's his name? What's that dude's name in the ring? That was
Regal?
Yeah, he was saying you need shortcuts. You need William Regal. He said, "Oh, you need shortcuts. You can't do it on your own." So I feel so. To me, MJF is still a heel, but the promo was really good. It was very. He had a lot of conviction and all that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to where this goes. But I feel like they're kind of pulling the gun a little too soon. They're saying he's going to cash in at the next pay-per-view. I feel like they should wait until February at Revolution. I think that's the one that's called. The one after this pay-per-view coming up. Because the year is almost done, right? Maybe wait until the year starts, a fresh year, and then put the title on him. Kind of like let it marinate. Let him hold on to that chip a little bit longer. You know, maybe troll the fans every week, come out and tease a cash in or do something. I feel like they're pulling the gun a little too soon.
Fair enough. Now, any thoughts on how Moxley's got his long contract now, and Jericho and Tony Khan's making sure he can lock some of these guys down with Triple H on the prowl. Like, any thoughts on that?
I think what he's doing is good, like extending a contract, because if Moxley jumps ship to WWE, that's gonna make the AEW title look weak. Like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the big leagues." So if Moxley really wants to make the company look strong, he should just stay with the company. That way, it puts more value on the AEW title instead of just jumping ship. You know what I mean? It's just gonna make it look weak.
And he locked down Jericho, who was his first champion too. So and you got like leadership there. I mean,
yeah, you got to make
probably more leadership than they had. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't make it look like a transitional company.
Okay, well said. I know you're a big AEW. AEW is your favorite promotion, right?
No.
Really?
No.
Wait a minute. I thought so. I thought it was.
No, I just
You're
say
swerving
I hate
me.
Roman Reigns. I don't hate WWE. I just don't like it when people pray for the downfall of AEW. Like they want to see AEW
like
crumble.
Roman Reigns always got praised for his downfall. Like they want his downfall.
Like the AEW botches Twitter account.
I get it though. Fair enough. Colin, over to you on these topics of AEW. Have at it. You don't have to talk about all of them, but whatever you see fit.
I mean, Moxley and Hangman. This was really not the way that this match was supposed to end. Good on that referee for catching it early. And best wishes to Hangman, because we see a lot of injuries, especially in AEW, and nobody wants to see that. So, get back soon, or take your time, work on your character, and come back interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, he needs a character change. Yeah.
God damn, yes, he does. This cowboy shit has really
been cowboy.
I think that's why the fans turned on him.
Yeah. And that's really all I have to say on that. Moxley's contract extension, I mean, saw it coming, but didn't at the same time. You know what I mean? I know his boys are on top of the world in WWE right now, but they just hired his wife over in AEW too, and so it is what it is. Jericho, signing another extension, and now to quote him, he's working closely with Tony Khan every day is rewarding and stimulating experience for both a creative and professional standpoint. Are you kidding me?
Dude, what he's doing with that statement is having Tony Khan make sure that he's going to keep dishing money to Chris Jericho. That's smart. Jericho is working the pants off Tony Khan, and that's legendary.
Mm-hmm.
Moxley too. Good for them. Good for those guys. Absolutely. I'm definitely not upset about that.
I mean, I'm not either, but still, I just don't want Jericho kissing Tony Khan's ass because Tony Khan's I know. I almost slipped.
Know that he's doing it
he's a moron.
He's doing it for his family.
And him as the NXT, I mean, Ring of Honor, it's the same damn thing to me, because both those titles don't mean anything anymore either. So him wearing the ROH championship means absolutely nothing to me either. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully if he's going to be a creative figure now, maybe they can figure out how to book more interesting storylines and will capture in fans like myself 3 years later that still am like, You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well said. I mean, it's AEW. I know. What's your go-to wrestling these days? I know it used to be NXT back in the day.
Yeah.
WWE. Like
it's always been WWE. I mean, I remember watching the first episode of Raw when it aired live 30 years ago in January, you know what I mean? Or this coming January. So It's always been WWE. But I mean, I do have certain people in AEW I like, so I do try to keep up with them. But besides that,
Fair enough. All right, Big G. We know Adam Page has already tweeted. He said he's okay, whatever, concussion. Right. He's not, no broken neck, no anything like that. Like, head injuries are still a problem. I did my virtue Twitter thing like I do, and what did I do? I put a picture of CM Punk, and I, off of a tweet of NoDQ from the injury of Adam Page, and I put karma. Have at it.
I did not retweet that.
Yeah, well, but it's the absolute
then
truth.
I would retweet it, and then you would just call anybody who calls you out an effing mark, and then we just have more more drama
Well,
on Twitter.
That's what I do, and
You got to make your bait a little less obvious.
First of all, I mean, let's see. Unprofessionally on television, he gets a concussion like inadvertently. You know, Moxley didn't mean to do that, or however it happened, whether it was Moxley's arm flipping. Yeah, but like it's just like, and it could have happened anyway. But I'm just saying, you know, maybe if Adam Page could have went back and cut that promo against CM Punk, he would have did it a little bit differently, and we'd still have everybody involved with AEW. Big G, what's your thoughts on all of this development? I mean, dude, but I'm telling you, the butterfly effect, I'm telling you, man, it happens. Right. It's weird. It's a weird thing, but
yeah, it was crazy. Like 1 minute the match is going, and then like next thing you know, the ref stopped the match. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And like I saw the clothesline, and I was like, okay, it's just a regular clothesline. And then they did the replay and showed it over and over again. I was like, okay. And you know, accidents do happen in the ring, you know, and concussions are a real thing. Especially, well, I know a lot of you guys are big football fans, but lately there's been a lot of concussions in the NFL. But yeah, you know, hopefully Hangman is fine, which he said he is. Take some time off, like Colin said, reinvent your character a little bit. MJF's promo, I thought, was one of the best promos in AEW this year. You know, we'll see what happens at Full Gear. Hopefully he wins the title, because I think Full Gear is a time, because you can't wait any longer. Full Gear.
Oh, he has to win it on using that opportunity. Like, yeah, I can't see any other
point. He has to win it, and
if they didn't,
he doesn't necessarily have to be a babyface. He can just be himself still, and just cut those awesome promos. You know, Steve Austin wasn't your typical babyface. You know, neither was The Rock. They were themselves. They were just turned up like 110%, if you think about it. And I think that's how MJF can go. Moxley and Jericho extending their contracts. I mean, good for them. You know, they've been in the business a long time. Nothing against the Elite and Omega being executive vice presidents, but I feel like having two people that have been in the ring longer than both combined, I think will do great things for AEW.
More importantly, though, been in the locker room.
Thank you. Yep.
Good.
Could I touch on the MJF thing real quick? I completely blanked on that a minute ago. So I think that this kid has been hitting banger after banger after banger after banger with these promos lately.
Yeah.
And honestly, give him the title. And you know what else I want to see? I want to see him aligned with William Regal at the end of all this, because I would love to see Regal turn his back on the Combat Club and there's a line and have a super heel run, super heel manager mode. You know, what was that?
GM Regal was like the best Regal.
What was that term that William used in old decent villain or
old decent villain?
Yeah. Like go back to that era, like with those two, and maybe maybe Claudio follows or something. But I would like to see. I like this Regal and MJF thing. I think it's fire. I think it works. It's believable. It's real. Like, you know what I mean? So make it happen. Give him the belt, because he's the hottest thing you have in that company.
I agree.
Hands down.
And I'm going to call out Mr. Tito here. I think.
Oh, here we go.
I think, because I've seen all the tweets I get interacted with the way. I swear there was a tweet saying about the future of AEW. What do you think of these two guys? And it was Wardlow and MJF, and Tito's like, neither. I was just like, whoa, why? Like, why? Why neither? I had to call him out on that. I believe I saw him tweet that. I think those two guys are the future of AEW, and that's not a bad thing. So, anyway, you all set, Colin? Did you get all your MJF stuff out?
Yeah, and shout out to Noah. Feel better, buddy. He just messaged the group chat.
All right, good. At least we've heard from him. All right, Jerry, over to you on all this stuff.
All right, well, the MJF Regal promo, I knew it was going to be great because it had MJF, it had William Regal in it. Those guys could cut nothing but great promos. So the Blackpool Combat Club, I really don't see lasting much longer anyway. I love Colin's idea of like him like going off and joining like Regal and MJF teaming up after a bit. That'd be fantastic. And the whole Claudio thing back in the suits and everything, that'd be cool. But Hangman Adam Page, his injury, it was kind of weird because, like, you know, he got hit with the clothesline. I'm like, did he go to sleep? And I was like, this. So that kind of gave Virtue a little laugh there, probably. But at the same time, I can't. I don't know. It's one of these things where, like, maybe they want to take him off TV and possibly repackage him. Made a concussion could possibly be a work. We don't know. But at the same time, like, it kind of would make sense if they're going to bring back the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega at some point and have all four of them team back up for him just to disappear from television for a while. So
it might be a work because they never threw up the X.
I'd rather have it be a work. Like if they made it look so good, we all thought it was an injury. I'd be fine with being duped in that situation because that means they didn't suffer a concussion.
Like granted, I know Mox is a super professional and everything, but he did not break character at all during it. Like after like Hangman Page went down. So that's what kind of throws me off about the whole thing. There was like no look of concern. There was like nothing like that going on. Like even when Stone Cold broke Owen Hart's neck, he had that moment of hesitation and like, you know, it was just like backed off a little bit. It was like, oh God, what'd I do? But like this time around, we didn't have that from like Moxley at all. So there's very good possibility that this could be a work, a very elaborate one, but a great one. Because like the last great work we've had so far has been the MJF like pipe bomb thing, and look at where that's gotten them. So if Hangman Page can benefit from a possible concussion type plot line, or just him being put back into the Elite, either one I'm fine with as long as they do something with him. Otherwise,
if it is a work, Jerry,
yeah,
props to Hangman because when he started rotating, his legs went dead quick, like he was like knocked out. And that if that is a work, that's a hell of a job making that look that real. Because I watched that over and over and over again just to kind of
back and to the left, back and to the left. but Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley each getting their contract extended makes all the sense in the world. They're the two ring generals there. Like they're the ones, like the locker room leaders. Pretty much if there's like some sort of like court system like WWE had with The Undertaker, that's what you're going to have with Jericho, and you're going to have that with Moxley as well. Anything they say is going to go in that locker room because A, they're probably getting the most money out of anybody there. B, they've been there, like Jericho's been there in wrestling, I think the longest out of anybody in that roster. I want to say close to it. And C, like they're just well respected. So you have like those two and Bryan Danielson like as your like, you know, your three pillars right now, because the other pillars aren't really holding up the foundation very well at this point.
Yeah, one of these days, I'd like to talk more about Bryan Danielson. It just seems like it's like status quo with him. All right, Aaron, over to you on this.
All right, we have a few super chats. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, babyface MJF versus heel Adam Page with the Elite. Interesting idea there. I'm not totally against that. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say this about MJF first and foremost. I think he should be the next AEW champion sooner than later. He is the hottest thing in the company right now, and I think it's time to put the title on him. The question is, will he stay a heel or will he eventually become like the anti-hero babyface like a Steve Austin? That remains to be seen, but I do like the idea of William Regal betraying Jon Moxley at Full Gear, and MJF is aligned with Regal, and this is all the beginning of that to set up Jon Moxley and have Jon Moxley get screwed out of the title. I would not mind that, although I'd also be fine with MJF winning the title clean. We'll see what they do at Full Gear. I'm very intrigued about the match, but regardless, I think MJF needs to be the next world champion. And as far as Hangman Adam Page goes, I'm happy that he got discharged. A concussion is still a serious deal. He could be out indefinitely. It's one of those deals where you just don't know. He could be cleared in a few weeks. He could be cleared in a few months. He may never be cleared, but hopefully he'll be back at some point. And yeah, he could really use some kind of gimmick change too, because he's been more or less doing the same shtick for over 3 years now since the launch of AEW. This would be a good time to freshen him up and give him a little bit of a change. And if the Elite comes back, they could always realign with Adam Page. Maybe they change up their whole presentation. But yeah, after so many years, you got to change it up a little bit. Who's a master at changing things up? Chris Jericho. But he's staying with AEW. He's not leaving just yet. Like you said, Virtue, he sees the money. He's collecting the big paycheck. He's gaining more power in the company, which is always a good thing for him, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Makes him more valuable. He makes more money. And I do think he'll be back in WWE someday. Will not be for the next several years, but eventually we'll see him back. I kind of see his situation like Sting in Impact Wrestling, where Sting would come in for a year and then Dixie Carter would keep him around, keep offering him money. And if you're Sting, why not? Yeah. If you can be a top guy and make a lot of money with a light schedule, yeah, I would do that. And if I'm Chris Jericho, Tony Khan's offering me a lot of money, I get more power in the company. Yeah, I would take it too. Why walk away from a good thing that he has going for him right now? He's on TV every week. He's one of the focal points of the show, and he can leave his legacy with the future of AEW, since he's going to be mentoring some of the young talent. He can influence them, and they'll do things that will remind fans of Chris Jericho. So to me, it's a very smart business decision to stay with AEW as long as Tony Khan wants him around. So yeah. Looking forward to what they do with MJF, and happy for Chris Jericho that he's getting the big payday. Same thing with Moxley. Like I said last week, in WWE, he would have been at best number 2 after Roman Reigns. In AEW, he's the number 1 guy, and now his wife is working there too. So why not? And he can bleed every week, as we saw.
Yep. Yeah, I really like the idea of like Hangman Page coming back as a heel, especially with the executive vice president, since they've been thrown under the bus by CM Punk. For them to come back, it's like, oh, so we're running our company poorly. We're making bad decisions, huh? Okay, we'll show you some bad decisions, and that's when they like become like almost like an Uber heel faction, which they should have been in the first place anyhow. And then you have Hangman Page be like their chosen champion.
Sure, why not?
And if CM Punk wants to play ball, he can come and help out MJF. Yeah.
Ooh, there you go.
MJF might be like, oh, I need a partner, and then it takes him weeks and weeks and weeks, and then boom, CM Punk's music plays, and then
Regal's like, I found somebody.
You know, they should play up real life. Like the Elite should come back as heels, because at the end of the day, CM Punk will be cheered. Even if you feel like CM Punk was out of line, he's CM Punk. He'll get cheered by the fans.
But how is he out of line? Freedom of speech is part of the First Amendment.
You're right, and that's why people like CM Punk, because he goes out there and he is a rebel. He goes out there and says what he wants. He doesn't hold anything back. No BS, and that's why the fans love him. And if MJF is feuding with the Elite, that would be a great opportunity for CM Punk to come in, play off of real life a little bit. And we all know when you blend it in, it can be very effective in storytelling. You know, Matt Hardy and Edge had their feud, which was based off of real life. And it was intriguing when Matt Hardy came out there and mentioned Ring of Honor and all that stuff. And, you know, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, there's been lots of feuds that were built upon real life tensions. And if I was AEW, if CM Punk and the Elite can make peace, that would be a great storyline for 2023.
CM Punk and MJF versus Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega would be fire.
I agree.
That is a match.
Think about this, guys. Like, I was just thinking, what's the biggest, like, in the next 6 months, what would be the biggest buzz that the wrestling community would have if they saw it happening? Now, The Rock coming and facing Roman, if that happens, whatever. CM Punk showing back up on AEW television, would that not create a buzz? Yeah. It would. Again, yeah. And it's CM Punk always finds a way to make himself be buzzworthy, whether it's intentional or not.
Right.
Think about it. Like,
They're saying he won't be back. They're saying he won't be back till spring of like next year because of the injury. But at the same time, if he does come back, just as an on-screen role,
they're going to want to hear what he says.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Aaron, any other super chats? Are we all caught up?
We're caught up, and I'll tell you this: CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. I'd buy a ticket for that.
That's a match that's going to happen.
If that was like in Cleveland, I might actually go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or somewhere within driving distance. All right, gentlemen, we're going to go around. We might get out of here in a decent time tonight, but you know the drill. Do your plug, say whatever you want in closing, and then we'll pass it along. So, Colin, welcome back. Again, it's always great to have you on. I will let you go first.
All right. If you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is like right here. Literally right there. You can check that out there. My YouTube channel is The Cleaver Calling Andrew. I am getting that restarted as of Survivor Series. So tune in for that. And also you can catch me Wednesdays over on the Big Vito brand on Twitch for the sit down. So thanks for having me. Try to be back on as soon as I can. So
all righty. Good to have you on. Great to have you on. Over to you, Jerry Slaughter.
You can find me on Twitter at Gerald_JSJ and my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR, exclamation point. It's so much better when Noah's there.
I did the signal, but you couldn't see it.
We couldn't see it because of the caption, like exclamation point. You find us there, and it's always a great joy to come talk to you guys about wrestling. And yeah, that's it.
Cool. Good to have you on. You know you're welcome back. Big G, sometimes you don't look happy, but deep down inside, I know you're always happy.
I'm always happy to be here. Yeah. Yes, you can follow me at NoDQ.com/BigBallerG. That'll take you to my Twitter page. Yes, I am just happy to be here. And you can follow me on TikTok at BigBallerG1988. And that's where you can find my cat videos, Aaron.
All right.
There you go. Big G and his cats. All right, Mo Camera.
You can catch me on YouTube at Mo Camera. I'm not really, I don't really post much on social media. I just like to talk about wrestling. Go back and forth with people about Roman and Bray Wyatt. Hopefully,
you can catch him in the chat every Thursday night here on the review.
Yeah, and hopefully Aaron has seen 3 from Hell because I've been.
No, I haven't seen it still.
Did you like that movie?
It was good. It was a little.
I was just sad that Sid Haig passed, like it was sick and couldn't do his.
A lot of them died.
He's a horror legend. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being on, Mo. Over to you, Aaron.
Coming up on November 8th, it could be, it will be, the greatest wrestling Q&A ever. Myself and Jeff Meacham reuniting once again to celebrate NoDQ.com's 24th birthday, as well as the 20-year anniversary of the very first NoDQ media show that was launched by good old JM himself, Jeff Meacham. If anybody out there was around during that time, shout out to you. Much appreciated. And just stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the latest. Thank you all for watching. We much appreciate it.
All right. And you can follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_virtue if you get blocked because you have a troll account, there's no profile pic, you got like 20 followers or no followers, you know you can always email me at nodqvirtue@gmail.com with an apology or buy one of those shirts, show proof of it, and I will unblock you, and we can finally get along. I extend that olive branch out to anybody that I have blocked. Even Mr. Tito and I are interacting again, right? That's the impossible, yet it is possible because it has happened. Hey, we've had a pretty good run. We're playing the same video game now. Dude, that's what it's all about. NoDQ.com/merch. You can check out the shirt like you just saw there. And that's it. This has been the NoDQ review number 209 for Mo Camera, for Big G, Jerry Slaughter, Colin Andrew, Aaron Rift, and Noah Foster, and the whole crew. Good night, everybody. We'll see you again next week.